Hi, Dennis Hall with LearningTemplates.com. This video is going to familiarize you with the organization of the LearnDash xAPI plugin. So right off the bat in the multi-site, and by the way, everything that I do identify in a multi-site, I'm identifying it in a multi-site, but in a regular site, it'll all be in this single instance of LearnDash xAPI in a single WordPress site. But the multi-site is the one that I'm going to demonstrate. So everything that I show you in a single site will actually be within the single screen set of LearnDash xAPI. So let's go ahead and let's just talk about this. So LearnDash xAPI in a multi-site, the licensing and support are only available in the root LearnDash site under Network Admin, and you can go to the dashboard and then you can get to LearnDash xAPI. This is where you would add in your license key to activate the plugin, and it was also where you'll see the visibility of the tabs and such, allowing you to understand how this works. So this specific screen is not available within the subsites. So and this specific screen also is not available having any other tabs, because it is purely the administration and support screen. So within this you will be able to understand how to get to the different, or how to set up your LearnDash website in a multi-site. So it's for the super admin. You'll see tips, and you'll also see the contact support form, only available in the main site. And this is because I'm not going to be supporting 50 sites. If you've got 50 sites sitting in your LearnDash site, I'm only going to support a single person reporting tickets. Within this, you can enter your support subject, you can describe your problem, you can enter even the URL of the subsite where the problem is being reproduced, and you can also enter a support login for me and a support password for me in the sites. Once that's done, then when you submit the support ticket, what will happen is I will get this information, and at the same time I will also be collecting all of the plugins and their versions and so on and so forth, a LearnDash system report essentially. So if we take a look, for example, I've got this plugin activated at the network level. I've also got LearnDash plugin activated at the network level, but LearnDash itself does not activate or does not show a menu item here, because it's not available in the main site. Now, if we go to one of the subsites, what happens is LearnDash xAPI does show up in the LearnDash menu under LearnDash xAPI. Along with that, when you've activated LearnDash xAPI, you'll have another new menu item called competencies. So competencies and LearnDash xAPI are what I'm adding to this menu. Competencies don't have to be used, they're optional. We'll talk about that in another video. But let's go ahead and let's see what we can do for each individual subsite of a multi-site. First off, every subsite of a multi-site will have its own ability to have its own individual uploaded e-learning courses. So these courses are not going to be shared amongst all the sites. Every site that is in this multi-site has its own individual set of e-learning courses added to it. So again, if I go to this other subsite and I go to LearnDash xAPI, that person only has one course added to it. Within that as well, there are LRS settings, and LRS settings are tied to LearnDash groups. So in this particular subsite of LearnDash LMS, I've got a group called Group 1. And that's the only group in this site. LearnDash xAPI can make use of that group. And by mapping an LRS endpoint to it. Now, certain LRSs are capable of having multiple endpoints. I myself use the Learning Locker version 2, which is capable of having multiple endpoints within it and multiple organizations within that. So here I've got a single client in a single organization, and that's my demo organization. So I've got a single client with a single store for that, and that's the demo store. The demo client maps to the demo store and resides in the demo organization. I have other organizations in the case of Learning Locker version 2 that are also there. So here I have a few other test organizations, and this particular one I've got a organization called Hong Kong region, and within that one I've got two clients, School A and School B. School A has a different set of credentials than School B. So these credentials are what I end up tying your LRS into. So if your LRS is capable of multi-tenant, like LearnDash or like Lifter LMS, like Learning Locker version 2, then you can make use of this in LearnDash itself. If we head back to the main site, or the LearnDash multi-site is just what I've called it, and I go back to LearnDash xAPI, I have the ability to connect to multiple LRS endpoints. In this particular case, I do have Hong Kong School A and B. I'm also connecting to Grassblade LRS, and I'm connecting to the demo client LRS. So this one here is a Learning Locker version 2 LRS endpoint, and so are these two up here. They're also Learning Locker version 2 LRS endpoints, where this one here is Grassblade. And what you'll notice, the difference between each is that the Grassblade one doesn't have an LRS user key. Let's explain what all of this is. I'll explain it in the case of Learning Locker version 2. So here I have a group that I've created in LearnDash called Hong Kong School A, and that's simply a LearnDash group. That's all, nothing more. One key piece of information to understand: it is not a Wisdom Labs group. It is not a Uncanny Owl group. It is a LearnDash native group in every case. Okay, I'm not connecting to anybody else's groups. If you want that to happen, that will require custom development. So here I use native LearnDash groups, and within that list you will see those native LearnDash groups. And you'll select a group, you'll then add your LRS user key. In the case of Learning Locker version 2, the LRS user key, I'll have to go back to Learning Locker itself. So give me one moment. So here I'll head to Learning Locker itself. Once you log into Learning Locker, you can be directed to a group. So I'll just go to the demo organization, and what I'm looking for in that is this key right here, after the word organization / and before the /data. So what happens there is you paste that information into the LRS user key. The organization of this form is broken into two sections. One is the group is its own entity. That's where you map the LRS to. If you don't select a group, then the LRS will be used for all groups. After that, the user key maps you to my dashboard widget. Maps my dashboard widget to that group. So in here, you'll wind up having that group. After that, you'll have the LRS root path. The LRS root path, in the case of Learning Locker, once I get to it, is going to be, in this case, it'll actually be organization. So I'll copy that, and I'll paste that into here. After that, the your user login and your user password would be used for the administrator. Now, for your information, these two pieces of information are not actually used in the dashboard widget. They're there only in case you forget your Learning Locker login information. So it's a handy place to store them as a backup. After that, we need to get into the username. So here I am back in Learning Locker. I'm going to go to Settings and I'm going to go to Clients. So here I have the demo client. Now, why do I call it a username and password, LRS username and password? Because it's a legacy name for Learning Locker version 1 X installations. The translation of LRS username is LRS key. So let's go ahead and let's copy that LRS key, and we will paste that into the LRS username. Next, I'll go to the LRS password, which translates today into the secret. And this is the case with most LRSs for your information. So I'll copy that and I'll paste that into the secret. Now, having done that, when you create a new LRS, this will be empty. This is a message for people who are not logged in. This is what they will see when they're not logged in. And if you put an xAPI course out into a public web page or post, because you don't have to just put things in Learning Locker, you can put them in web pages and posts as well. And people who are not logged into the system will see this. This is because xAPI requires that a person be logged in to be able to use those courses, for example, that you've embedded into a page, or courses that might open up in a light box or whatever. So now we have the demo client LRS, and that's all set up. And at that point, I would simply be here, and I would log into the LRS and get to that location, for example. So that's basically how it's all laid out within the sub-menus or within the sub-sites in a multi-site. Adding a new tin can record again is going to be the same thing. When they add it in a sub-site, it's only going to be applicable to that sub-site. We'll cover the next things in the next video within this playlist.